Thank you very much, Duncan and the orchestra. And now we come to our graduation ceremony. Wow, I'm already a little bit emotional. But before we start, actually as part of the ceremony, I'd like to invite one lady, amazing lady, who was there at the birth of the orchestra. And she'll tell you about how it happened, I believe. But she is very, very much instrumental in making this happen, in bringing us to where we are today. And that is Rita Okude. Welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Michelle, how are you? There's some complaints from the audience when you gave your message to Bob. The audience said, what about us? So I don't know how the cameraman is going to pan around the audience, but the audience, I think, we want to give the same message. We haven't had time to rehearse, so let's not pretend, right? So the exact same message, I think it was, thank you, Bob. We miss you. Come back soon. Easy enough to remember, right? Thank you, Bob. We miss you. Come back soon. So, Michelle, if you could come and just lead us in giving homage to our founder, and then I can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. We miss you. Come back soon.
Thank you, Michelle. The graduating class of 2018, I can hardly believe it. This journey started 5 years ago. For you guys, it started 4, but for me, it started 5 years ago. Bob Collymore, my CEO, went on a trip to Sweden, which is fine, he always travels. And then he said, oh, I got invited to this luncheon by the King and Queen of Sweden. I thought, okay, that's nice. He said, I saw this orchestra with very young children playing, and I wondered, why can't we start an orchestra in Kenya? I thought, okay, what's that got to do with anything? And he said, I want you to start an orchestra. And I thought, fortunately, when I go to see my boss, I have a notebook. So my head thinks faster than my mouth. So I just wrote it down, write an orchestra, and start an orchestra. And yesterday I looked at the date, and it was sometime in November of 2013. And it was a big, audacious goal. I mean, you need to understand, it was a really big, audacious goal. Although I'm an instrumentalist myself, I play the piano, bringing an orchestra together, it's at least 50 players, at least 20 sets of instruments. I was like, where do we start? So we fiddled around with it for about 3 months, and Bob Collymore, in his typical style, said, what's happening? It was one of those things where you go to your team and you say, let's start an orchestra, and they give you that blank look, and you know that, okay, you're not making headway. So I said, why don't we talk to Elizabeth at the Art of Music? She may have an idea on how to do this. So the first lesson that I want to give you, the graduating class of 2018, set big, audacious goals. Goals that actually scare you. Goals that you look at and you think, I can't do this on my own. And we wanted to do it differently because orchestral music for a long time in Kenya has been seen as the preserve of a certain class in society. And we say no. Any young person can play an instrument. And we want an orchestra that is a mix of children from private schools, children from public schools. We have children with us from Kibera. We have children with us from Korogosho. And we started out. We had the first audition. The journey began. Then we said, okay, we need somebody to sort of direct this orchestra, right? It can't be me. So where do we find one? And I was actually quite concerned because I thought, who would believe that Safaricom can set up a good orchestra? A lot of people still think of us as a technology company. We happen to be, but that's not all we are. It's just one of the many things that we do. And so when Duncan Bugwa agreed to become the music director of the Safaricom Youth Orchestra in 2014, I believe it was, there's a collective sigh of relief in Safaricom House. And I always tell Duncan, there are only 2 men who make me cry. So I won't tell you who the other one is and what he did. But the second one is Duncan. Because I look at what this orchestra has become because of his passion and his commitment and that of his tutors. And we owe you a huge debt of gratitude. You, as Duncan, Levy, all the tutors who you saw earlier, I'll just ask them to stand up, and please let's give them a huge round of applause. They've done an amazing, amazing, amazing job. We're immensely proud of you. Thank you. So if my eyes are red, you know why. I started crying, I think, from the third bar of the first piece. But then, to you, as members of the orchestra, you know what it takes to be good at what you do. If you're playing an instrument, you have to play it every day, right? You've got to practice. That takes discipline. One of the things that learning an instrument teaches you is discipline. The second thing that it teaches you is resilience. There's some pieces that your conductor has given you. I'm sure there's some pieces that Duncan has given you, and you think, what is Duncan thinking? I mean, really? Does he think we can play this? And you look at it for the first 3 days, and then you start to play it, and then you get better, and then you get better, and then you get better, and then finally, you make beautiful music like you made today. Discipline and resilience. You're going out there, stay disciplined, and stay resilient. It's not always easy. Look for people, partners, like hopefully you can find a Duncan and a Levy, people who've walked the journey before you, who can guide you, because you can't do it on your own. I think the last thing is that, playing in an orchestra is playing as part of a team. And we all have a different pace of learning. Some of us learn faster than others, some of us learn a little slower. One of the things about being a great person or even a great leader is learning to adjust your pace to become in sync with the team. You can't make great music on your own. You can't make anything great on your own, actually. You have to be part of a team. And so you must be able to pace yourself. Sometimes you know more, you can pretend to know less. Sometimes you know less, you can look like you know more and then go do your homework and make sure that you know more. But it's very important that you're part of a team and you play in sync with the team. Don't stop playing your instrument when you leave the orchestra. I'll give you a very personal example. My daughter, who was taught by Levy Wataka, didn't want to play an instrument when she was about 9. And I said to her, Liza, you're going to learn an instrument. And she said, I'm not interested in music. I said, I don't know which bit of the sentence you didn't understand. You are going to play an instrument. So it's a matter of which instrument. It's not about if. And so she picked the violin. And for the first 2 years, she complained and whined and changed to the trumpet. I don't know if you remember. Then came back and eventually stuck with the violin and played it all her life, all of her school life. Went on to university in Cardiff to study law, still playing the violin. She now plays in the Cardiff Philharmonic Orchestra. She's the only African in that orchestra. And what it has done for her is that it's allowed her to see the world. I mean, she's played in so many places. She's played in Buckingham Palace. She's played all over the place. And those of you who believe in the Holy Book, the Holy Book says that it is your talent that brings you before kings. It's not education. It is talent that brings you before kings. So as you leave the orchestra, don't leave your instrument. And there's a dearth of good instrumentalists in the world. If you can play your instrument well, you will always find a job. So congratulations, all the very best, and I know you will go on to succeed, and I'm sure I'll see you one day playing in a big, big philharmonic orchestra like New York or London, or even in Kenya, or even as part of an Africa orchestra. So God bless you and all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was an amazing speech, Rita. Thank you. That was very deep. Thank you. I'd like to invite 2 members who are graduating to actually say a few words, and that is Michelle, our concert master, and Miranda. Come.
Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings to parents, friends, family, tutors, musicians, special guests, and the illustrious graduates of 2018. My name is Michelle Oguya, and I'm here to address you the best way I know how, so please do bear with me. Because this is a music concert, I'm supposed to talk about music, right? I mean, I could talk about chemistry, but I'm afraid I might not have any reaction. Therefore, let's get right onto it. About 4 years ago, we joined this orchestra. Miranda and I, and Bantu back there, we were one of the first few members of this orchestra. I remember the day it was founded. We had just met so many people, and we were around people we had never ever met before. Yet we decided we would come together and play music the best way we could. So over the time as I was making this speech, I asked myself, what really is an orchestra to me? When I asked some members of the Kenyan public, they said that, isn't that a big band? No, it's not just that. It's a group of musicians who come together in the highest form of synergy that exists to play music. And we're not just playing music. We're a family of people who work together. I remember the huge impact music has had on my life. It has cultivated discipline, as Rita said, because you could practice one whole bar of music for more than 2 hours and still get it wrong. Yet, when we come together, we help each other understand each single line, bar, and everything that is there for us to play. It gives us the real sort of resilience that we need in life. Further, it makes us mindful of others. As we play, the violin section is here in front, the brass section is there at the back. The violin section is going really hard, trying to play a lot, but can anyone hear them? When others have solo, people decide to step back and let someone else shine, because in the end, that's what makes music. That's what makes an orchestra. And it also allows you to multitask or think on your feet. You have to look up at the conductor, yet still not lose your place in music, and still look up again. But if you do look at your conductor, they kind of smile at you. They acknowledge that they have seen you. Yet at the same time, if you do miss your place, you see Levy staring at you with his eyes big, wide open. Or Duncan, on the other hand, does a small and continues conducting. To my fellow graduates and the orchestra, we made it. We managed to play William Tell, which is one of the hardest pieces in music, Jazz History by Jimek. Jimek, for those of you who don't know, is a Polish composer who decided to come to Kenya and teach us how he plays jazz. For the first time, I came across expressions I had never seen before. One of them was like a power symbol, literally, like the ones you find on your laptop. What he was trying to mean by that is play it strong, expressively, but it was a power symbol. Some very funny moments in the orchestra happen when you're playing a piece, you're all so focused, you've come to a climax, and suddenly, conductor stops us, but no, there's one note, boom. At that moment, everyone in the orchestra just takes a glance at someone opposite them. I look at a cellist, I look at Miranda, I look at all of these people, and we just shrug it off, laugh it off, and continue. Music does have the power to help us accept our mistakes and move from them and learn from them. For when we join an orchestra, we move from last desk to third desk and up to second desk. But then that's where the problem may come as well. Because when you're at second desk, not everyone can see you. They can see you mess up. They can see you learn from the music. They see everything that happens. But last of all, you come to your first desk, and for some, that may have been what they were dreaming for. But for others, they just wanted to make music. I thank all the members of the orchestra for the brilliant work they've done. I thank Bob, our founder, and Rita as well, for the amazing work they have done in supporting us. They've come for this concert, in spite of their busy schedules, and taken the time to watch us grow, watch us learn every single time we play. That's just brilliant. I thank Elizabeth for the wonderful work she has put into supporting us every Saturday. She comes to the rehearsal, sees us perform, and keeps on encouraging us to keep on playing. I thank Duncan and Levy for the amazing work they've done in helping us put together huge pieces of music. And last but not least, I thank our parents who have brought us here, who have encouraged us to keep on playing, to keep on practicing. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hi, guys. So Michelle has said pretty much everything except what I've learned as an orchestra, because she doesn't know personally what I've learned. So my name is Miranda, and as you know, I play the flute back in the back. And I am indeed only 18, not older as some of you may think. So it's been 4 years with SYO. That means I was with them from the start, from the first practice ever back in 2014. 4 years with an orchestra that has propelled my life towards me being a die-hard musician, and I cannot tell you how thankful and amazed I am at where I have come, where the orchestra has come, and just how incredible the journey has been. I have definitely grown as a leader, as a musician, and as a person, because music does that to people. It provides near-perfect conditions for growth and enhancement of life, and just helping figure out what to do with the rest of my life. So I want to thank you, not as full as Michelle did, but a thank you, a big, big, hearty thank you. Thank you to the coordinators, to the tutors, to the musicians, to the conductors, and you guys, the concert attendees. This barely touches upon how much I would say, how much I can say, and how thankful I am to each and every one of you. So thank you.
You know, in life, there are some moments that you'd like to frame and just keep playing over and over again. And I think, for me, those two speeches was a moment like that. So it was just really amazing and very encouraging for us as well, who put in so much to make these things happen. Sometimes, you know, things are difficult, sometimes it's tough, and you wonder why you're doing what you do. But Michelle and Miranda, you've just reminded, at least me, why I do what I do. Thank you very much. That was powerful. And so now, the class of 2018, please stand up, and we'll just give you a few minutes. There's something waiting for you in that room over there. That's Valerian, Michelle, Emma. Jenny, please stand up. Melissa, Stephen, Miranda, Imani, well, she's not here, Kelvin, Joy, Margaret, Mildred, Eunice, Crystal, Muthoni. Let me just lead you give me a few minutes. Just come. Joy, Dave, Kripa. Talk amongst yourself for 1 minute. Maybe we should close the piano so it doesn't go in. Yeah. Because they will. Okay, I think we're ready now. May I please invite Rita? And then Rita and Paul, you'll help us both. Maybe start with Rita and then have Paul come and do that. Duncan and Levy, please come up. And our first graduate is Valerian Wamoshi, who plays the violin. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you. And then we have our amazing Michelle Oguya. Our conductors don't recognize them with the gowns. Eh? We are missing the tinsel. And next we have Emma Wakoli. I will mention that some of our graduates actually live very far away and have come specially for the graduation. Some have come from as far as Mombasa, from Narok. Up next is Jenny Song. We'll get it right. Melissa Karaoke. Round of applause for Melissa. Next is Stephen Kamau. Round of applause, please, for Stephen, who plays the flute. Miranda Buwalda. Yeah. Our next graduate is Imani Aguer. She's not here to receive the plaque and certificate on her own, but her sister will be here to take it for her. So Imani Aguer, one of our very first members as well. She's representing her sister. And I know her mom and dad are also here. Next is Kelvin Kamau, one of our oboists. Thank you. I'd now like to ask Mr. Paul Kasimu to please come up to hand out the rest of the awards. Joy. Is it Joy? No. We have Joy Madeline, who'd be next, but she's not around. She's another one who comes from very, very far away. But we next have Margaret Naisiai. Comes from Narok, yes? Mildred Sifa.